Hi, welcome back to the Dylan Rounds case. This is part one of two of today's videos regarding the latest. Later on, there will be a live premiere around 9:15 p.m. UK time, and we're going to be going in deep. I'm going to be analysing and responding and sharing the key information to you regarding the interview with Candice Cooley on Doug's channel, No Thanks, which occurred last night, okay? But firstly, in this video, what I want to share with you is the latest on the Find Dylan Rounds Facebook page, some stuff Candice has mentioned, but also Justin Round's reaction to the interview that took place last night between Candice and Doug. Okay, let's get into it now. So the first point brought up is by Becky Taylor, and that was 10 hours ago. She said, "Do we all need to show up in front of the BECSO? I'm sure hundreds of us showing up would get some media attention. Maybe seeing how many of us are behind you will get them to listen. Is there a PI or anyone that has search and rescue experience that could help organise searches for all of us to participate in, and not just around Lucin? He could have easily drove 200 miles with Dylan. Get food thinking it would cover his ass and drive back. Way before you guys even showed up to find him. Was anyone questioned where he got food to see if they noticed anything? Way too many. That we can start helping with you. Clearly these people aren't going to take it seriously, so maybe we need to help them. The longer they wait, the less chance of finding him." So, okay, you can leave your thoughts down below what you think about that, and you had a few little questions mentioned. The bit where it kept saying he could have easily drove 200 miles with Dylan. They keep saying he. I assume they're referring to Jim Brenner, the main suspect, even though he hasn't been 100% charged yet. And there are still other people on the table. So, just got to be careful, I guess, with the use of language. But interesting how they're saying 200 miles. 200 miles. Where? Northeast? Southwest? Who knows? And I guess the bit about food, probably the suspects getting food because of the journey covered, getting a bit hungry. CCTV cameras maybe. Yeah, there's a few different things to look at, I understand. The bit where it says, the longer things go on, less chance of finding Dylan. What did they mean by that? Are they referring to the fact that Dylan is still alive, but with time he won't be? Or did it just mean Dylan is somewhere, and with time he'll decompose? Animals might get his bones and spread them about, so he's unrecognisable, and there's less trace of him. Is that what they mean? Because, if you get a skeleton, it remains as it is, and the bones are still there for a long time. So they could still find him, but it wouldn't be the best outcome, though. Anyway, let's move on to the next point, and this is by Candice, and this is talking about the live stream last night interview. So Candice said 17 hours ago, "As most of you know, I will be going on No Thanks today. I know this has raised a lot of speculation as to why. Unfortunately, with no new updates from the LE, Dylan's story is fading from media attention. I was the one who reached out to do this, and we came up with the idea to do a Q&A session to bring more awareness and get Dylan's name back out there. This is not an interview, this is strictly answering questions that have been emailed in from the public. There will be no craziness or negativity. I have full access to the questions that have been emailed in and have not read one that is out of line. I personally feel if we do not help fight and keep Dylan's story out there as much as possible, it is going to just fade away, and we will not let that happen. Please tune and see that we are doing this strictly for awareness and keeping Dylan's name out there. There is no right or wrong way to handle a tragedy like this, so I'm following my mama's instinct and appreciate all of you that support me. So yeah, and there's a little thumbnail of the video. So that's kind of interesting. The bit where Candice said Dylan is slipping away from media attention, I assume she means the news channels and stuff like that, because when it comes to YouTube, I've, covered the case myself, and other people have, with other people putting quite a lot of depth in and just the boots on ground stuff. So there still has been a consistency of coverage with Dylan Rounds on YouTube. And even here and there, I've been keeping the case kind of active on TikTok in the background. Not as full on, because I can only do one or the other, but, things are still active. You just look back at the Kenny Veach case, 247 videos, 2 years covered non-stop, keeping it active. Other people come and go for many different reasons, but here and there, newer people come in only because the case is still active. So that's one of the important things. People might say, oh, what's the point covering it? Back, forth, no evidence, no new developments. Oh, you're going around in circles. But one, you can go in circles, you can look back, you might find something you didn't find before. /2, even if it feels like no progression is being made, the case is still active. It's still up there in the search terms, in like thumbnails, recommended videos, whatever it may be. So then when the right person does come along with the right resources, they might get interested, then they may share it with somebody else, and then someone bigger steps in. It can have a knock-on effect, a chain effect. It's happened before, I've seen it. So the same could happen with the Dylan Rounds one, okay? Now, the bit where Candice said, oh, some people might be wondering, oh, why are you going on, no thanks, a little bit odd in a way. I mean, this is the way I interpret it, okay? So YouTube is a platform itself with lots of people on it, and quite a fair few will be looking at the Dylan Rounds mystery regularly, or maybe just once in a while. They'll have their own opinions, thoughts and ideas. If things spread false information, it can get out of hand, it can get very messy. If you've got certain communities and channels with a big audience and following that can control and gather the people and, set the truth out there with bringing in the right people, such as bringing in Candice, then I guess that can help. I mean, other people will be thinking, yeah, but what's it really doing? Is it going to fix anything? Well, in a way, yeah, because if Candice comes in, does this interview, even though it's not called an interview, but the structuring kind of is, you could call it a Q&A live stream, moreover, is that she can clear things up, remove doubt, reinforce something, and then all the people that do watch or gather might have a better understanding. So there is positives with it, and also it does help keep the case active and alive in itself. Now, let's just take a look at Justin Rounds, the father of Dylan Rounds, and his response to this. Justin said, not a moment's fucking peace. No thanks, YouTube interview tomorrow night is and will be bullshit. I have nothing to do with it and refuse to turn my son's missing into a clown show. There you have it straight from my texting fucking fingers. So it's interesting how you've seen the contrast, disagreements between the parents. Candice wants the media coverage, reaching out to anyone, anything possible just to get Dylan's name out there, even if it's at the hands of certain YouTube channels which may be questionable or have been criticised in the past. All that type of negative stuff. But in Candice's mind, she's thinking, oh, I don't know about that, or I don't care. All that matters is getting my son's name out there and clearing up any confusion. With Justin, he just wants to find Dylan. You don't want to mess around with all this fiddly stuff and have nice little conversations with all these people. He just wants to get out there and get the job done, and that's it. And, in a way, both people are right. You do need some kind of coverage when it comes to a missing person. So then other people out there can help spread the word. They may know something, have found someone, so it can speed up the process. But the negative is, at times, there can be false hope, misinformation, false leads, wasted time, bullshit, drama, which can clutter and get in the way and tarnish the missing person case. And that's kind of has happened, maybe with Dylan, here and there. With Justin, the positive is, he just wants to get out there, get stuck in, and do what needs to be done, which is obviously good and effective. But the negative is, if he's a one-man band, one-man army, it's not going to be as effective or efficient. So you can kind of see it from both points of views. Justin, as I said, he doesn't want his son to be turned into some kind of full-on drama thing, because, you know, you look at the way the police, the Ellie, have handled Dylan's case with the lack of respect, care, attention and detail, making it a bit of a mockery in a way. So then further adding that to, if like on certain YouTube channels and stuff, start messing about. I mean, like with the spirit box and the card readers, some of them, not all, but some of them talk about a load of shit, to be honest, saying, oh, this happened, that happened, Dylan was chopped up, now he's in a mine shaft, now he's here, oh, that killer is revealed. You follow all these coordinates, listen to all this information, turns out to be lies and rubbish. So it kind of takes away the seriousness of Dylan's case, and I think that's what Justin is getting at, because I'm sure he might have seen some of the videos on YouTube too. But the only other thing you could take away from this is you're seeing more of a side to Justin Rounds, whereas in the past it was all about Candice in the interviews with Duty Ron, with Doug, with Zav Girl. On the East Idaho News Channel, it was mainly her and only her talking for most part of it, and some people maybe are questioning that. When it came to Justin Rounds, he seemed more reserved and quiet, with his arms crossed, talking calm and just observing and listening, and that was all. And yet, although it's not vocal, it's text-based, but it doesn't matter, it's still a response. You've seen Justin shows stronger emotions across, or his current thoughts, which, you know, just shows where he's at. And, you know, he seems like the type of person to lock on, not mess around, needs to do whatever needs to be done, and in this case it's trying to find his son. And you know, he might have a bit more of an intensity to him compared to some other people might be a bit more calm, relaxed, but him, you know, maybe things are building up inside. So you might have seen it at certain points as well, like the whole supposedly Dylan being held hostage or something, and Justin was like, well, do you know what, if you're not going to go down there and help, I'll do it myself. And you know what that hints at, you know, if you've got to kick shit out of someone, that's what will happen if no one else can get the job done. It's like that. And then the other mentality of like stakeout, observing the area of Montello for maybe 2 weeks or so previous, when Justin Rounds was parked up outside or nearby Saddle Saw Bar across the road, just parked there waiting, looking, you know, even if it's boring, taxing on the body, other things need to be done, you know, he's willing to do it regardless, because it's important to him. And yeah, so you can leave your thoughts down below. What do you think? Do you think the whole Candice interview is good or not? Do you agree with what Justin Rounds had to say in response to it? And so on, okay? So that's it for now. I will see you later in the live premiere as we talk in depth and I analyse all the key points mentioned from the interview, okay, and give my own opinion, okay? So see you then. Goodbye for now.